I am Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susie.
And we're paranormal specialists who live in the most haunted city on Earth, Savannah, Georgia. Every day is Halloween in our line of work, so join us as we spin true tales of haunts, murders, and disturbing Savannah history. I'm Madison.
I'm Chris.
And welcome to the most haunted city on Earth. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Most Haunted City on Earth. My name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susie.
And I'm Little William, and I have the mumps.
I didn't understand the first, 30% of what you
Little
just...
William, and he has the mumps.
Yeah.
That's tragic and weird.
That's going to get cut. Anyways.
Yes, it will.
That's fair.
But,
but if you want to know what Madison said, then become a bear junkie.
Exactly. So today, y'all, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about a place in Hull that is very haunted, very creepy, and metaphysical in every sense of the word. We're going to be talking about Sedona, Arizona.
Yeah.
And you're probably wondering, why Sedona
Why
first?
Sedona?
Because that is very far away from us. And JT and I have never been to Sedona. Have you been to Sedona?
I've never been to Sedona.
So there you go. So I'll tell you. Basically, a couple weeks ago, I was looking into yoga retreats, and I just scanned through different ones in all sorts of places, and I stumbled upon one that takes you into the vortexes of Sedona, and you do yoga in them, which I'm like, that's crazy. That's wild.
How does Sedona just has vortexes just chilling?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because there are vortexes all over. And every place has vortexes based on ley lines, based on what kinds of minerals are under the ground, ores under the ground, all kinds of things contribute to having natural vortexes. But when you get out into desertous regions, because of the way that it's laid out, all those energies converge much stronger because there's not as much interference. There's not as much technology interfering, not as much people interfering. Mm-hmm. And so you're basically got these whirlpools of energy that are uninterrupted by civilization, by people, and they become very sacred places. A lot of times those remote areas become very sacred, especially when there's no other life to draw the energy away. Because if you go into the deep forest, there might be that mystical sensation, that mystical feeling, but there's life teeming everywhere, and the trees themselves become anchor points for energy. But in the desert, when there's only flat rocks and red sand, you're going to be dealing with just an openness of energy that's going to sort of proliferate everywhere it goes.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. I went down the rabbit hole of Sedona, and we're going to kind of be discussing all of the different aspects of it, but also the reason why we wanted to do this is because once we have G.H.O.S.T.S up and running, which if you are new here, G.H.O.S.T is going to be our newest project that we'd like to get up and running by next year, or hopefully by the end of this year. And essentially, we are going to get an RV, we're going to wrap it, and we're going to create a mobile podcast studio and take it to all sorts of haunted places around the U.S. And Sedona is going to be the first one we go to when we get G.H.O.S.T up and running. So if you would like to see us go to these places and do investigations and do the podcast live on site, definitely consider becoming a para-junkie. That is the best way to support us. Also, it's the best way to get the most out of bang for your buck, if you will, because you get live streams like we're doing right now for the para-junkies. We also do exclusive episodes. We do fixes. You get access to our other our other podcasts, true crime, and all sorts of fun things. Great community, great chats, all sorts of good stuff. So if you would like to support us in that way, definitely consider becoming a para-junkie. And if you do not want to do a subscription like that and you just want to do a one-time donation, you can support us as well. On Venmo, we have a Venmo tip sort of situation going on, and JT will link that down below.
Will do.
Awesome. All right. So let's get on into it because there's a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about vortexes. We're going to be talking about UFOs. We're going to be talking about government interference. We're going to be talking about ghost
government interferes? No.
I know. Shocker. But
Chris is like, let's not talk about that.
Right.
We don't have to talk about that.
So let's go ahead and start. Let's start out with what draws attention to Sedona on a metaphysical and paranormal front. So number one would definitely be the vortexes. That's typically when people talk about spiritual aspects of Sedona. That's the one thing most people know about. Sedona is renowned worldwide for its energy vortexes and are locations where the Earth's energy is believed to be exponentially potent, swirling, and transformative. So visitors often experience profound feelings of tranquility, heightened intuition, spiritual awakening, and also physical sensations such as a tingling or dizziness sensation.
Wow.
And there are 4 main recognized vortex sites in Sedona, which is wild because...
That is wild.
Yeah.
Like recognized?
Yeah.
By what? Who's recognizing
like
them?
the state.
No.
Yeah, if you go on like visitsedona.com, they tell you all of these things.
Yeah.
They own it
outta
full
here.
throttle. Yeah.
Wow.
So the first one is Bell Rock, which is said to have balanced it. So basically the difference between all of them is the type of energy it promotes. So Bell Rock is said to have balanced energy and is great for meditation and insight. Then you have Airport Mesa, which is more masculine or electric energy. And is associated with ambition and strength. Then you have Cathedral Rock, which is more of a feminine energy, nurturing, healing, often tied to emotional healing. And then you have Boynton Canyon, which is considered a balanced vortex, perfect for relationships and harmony. So people from all over the world flock to these sacred sites to engage in meditation, prayer, and spiritual rejuvenation. And some even assert that they experience physical healing after spending time within these powerful vortexes. JT is currently on Visit
Get the F out of here.
I know. It's
What?
wild. Yeah.
I'm on visitsedona.com and it says, what is a vortex? Find out what a vortex is and how it can help you.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah, so
Wow,
there's
that's crazy.
There's so many experiences that you can do
That's
when you go to Sedona.
That's so cool that the city like recognizes it on their visitor center. That is nuts.
Yeah. So people do all sorts of different things. They do yoga, they do meditation. People will go to try to heal certain ailments that they have.
I'm going to send this to the Parajunkies. This is crazy.
It's crazy. So definitely when we go to Sedona, we will be visiting most of these vortexes, I would assume, just to try to see if there's any kind of difference. And it is interesting. I would like to see if it's different going to a vortex knowing that that's a vortex. Because most of the times when you come across vortexes, you're unaware.
Yeah, you're surprised. You're taken by surprise.
Exactly. So very interesting. And Sedona also is very sacred land. So the area surrounding Sedona held immense sacredness for multiple Native American tribes, including the Yavapai and Apache. It is whispered that the spirits of ancestors, ancient guardians, and spirit animals still reside within the canyons, mesas, and rivers. And various legends recount tales of spirit warriors diligently guarding the land, kind of similar to Hawaii is what I imagine, but maybe less vicious than the night marchers. But while others speak of ancestral portals, places where the veil between realms becomes thinner. And the renowned Red Rocks are widely regarded as repositories of profound memory and wisdom from ancient times, functioning almost as natural libraries of spiritual energies. And we'll talk about some of the experiences as we get further into this episode. I'm trying to give us a little bit of a ground basis first before we really dive into the meat of it. But there are also a lot of UFO sightings in this area. Sedona also holds that reputation of being a UFO hotspot. Both locals and visitors frequently report witnessing strange lights darting across the sky or even silent hovering crafts at night. And there are actually UFO tours that you can do when you go to Sedona that offer participants the opportunity to use Dyson and goggles in their search for these
cool.
UFO experiences, which, lucky for us, Chris has those goggles, so we could go do this on our own.
I also got a lens for my iPhone camera.
Ooh,
Dyson
that's
lens.
cool. That's super
wicked.
cool. And
Wow. They sell those. That's cool.
I
That's really
believe.
cool.
That's crazy.
But some spiritual groups believe that Sedona is home to interdimensional portals as well, not just spiritual realms, but to extraterrestrial dimensions as well. And that's kind of the logic behind why it might be such a hotbed for different UFO and extraterrestrial experiences. Now, a lot of this can be rooted back into ley lines, is why people think it turns up so much energy in this one specific area. Sedona is believed to sit atop an intersecting ley line, invisible lines of Earth's natural energy that connect sacred sites worldwide, such as Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, and the Egyptian pyramids. And these ley lines are thought to enhance psychic phenomena and spiritual experiences. But they're, of course, not only, UFO and elemental spirits, if you will, there are also ghost experiences in this area.
Okay.
Which would make sense.
Yeah, I figured.
If you are going to be a ghost in this area, it would make a lot of sense that people would almost get stuck in this type of region.
Absolutely.
Because imagine trying to cross over in all of this whirlpool of different stuff going on. But yeah, I like to say that Sedona isn't all love and light, as they like to tout sometimes, because it is a very spiritual, hippy-dippy kind of vibe. They definitely do have some darker hauntings as well.
Thank God. There's demons.
Can't go anywhere without demons.
I know, right?
So there are the Red Rock Crossing ghosts. Near Cathedral Rock, there are reports of ghostly figures appearing at dusk or dawn, and these figures are often believed to be Native American spirits or settlers who met their untimely end in the wilderness.
Sure.
Which is super creepy.
Yeah.
But you got to figure there was a period of pioneering where it was, you might make it, where it was just like, I'm going to California. Oh, okay. You
Good
might
luck.
make it.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the way, you might die. So you get a lot of the stories of outposts all along, the journey west, where they always have the story of people who were beset upon by Native Americans or people who were, diseased or just, starved or didn't realize that they didn't have enough water to make it through Death Valley. It's called Death Valley, people.
Right. Well, just trying to survive in the desert in general is brutal.
Desert almost killed me. Don't like it.
Yeah.
No, not my favorite place. I still can't be in the sun for any particular period of time because I get sick.
Oh.
I'll make sure our RV comes with an awning.
Get me an awning. An SPF 10,000.
Before Chris turns into a crisp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right. I'm writing that down. Awning.
Awning.
Need to have awning.
Or just a big umbrella for me.
Basically.
I just walk around with
a big parasol.
a parasol.
Parasol.
But probably the most ghostly place in this area is Jerome, Arizona, which is about...
You said Jerome?
Jerome.
Okay.
Which is about 30...
the town of Jerome.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerome, how you doing? Good to see you.
Which, if we go to Jerome, we can mark that off on our haunted bucket list.
When we go to Jerome.
Which is up behind us.
that's right.
We had the little ghosties that we can put, and Jerome is on there because it is a ghost town, both figuratively and literally. Now, it's about 30 minutes from Sedona, and it is said to be one of the most haunted places in America. It's an old mining town with numerous ghost sightings, and particularly the Jerome Grand Hotel is a hot spot. Originally known as the United Verde Hospital, this building underwent a transformation in 1996 when it was converted into the renowned Jerome Grand Hotel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta Got to look into that.
I know. Numerous guests and staff members have reported experiencing unexplained phenomena within its walls, including ghostly apparitions and unexplained noises. There are apparitions of a child on the 3rd floor. There are sounds of coughing and labored breathing in empty rooms, which that's terrifying. That's like the worst ghost sound I think you could possibly hear is someone going, it just silent in a
Death rattles.
Yeah, in an empty room.
Nobody
Objects.
likes that.
No, of course not.
Although also if you're just sitting in an empty room and you hear, hey,
Yeah.
not
Ooh,
great.
I hate
Or
that.
your name.
I hate that.
And
Stop.
there are also objects that move on their own and sightings of a ghost cat.
Ghost cat.
Ghost
I
cat.
love.
There's always a ghost cat.
Yeah.
Do love a ghost cat.
But their most notable story involves Claude Harvey, which was a maintenance man found dead in 1935 under mysterious circumstances. And
Because he had 2 first names.
literally
Claude Harvey.
And some believe his spirit still roams the hotel. Now, when we go to Sedona, of course, as always, I do deep dives into these things. So we'll do a deeper dive into all of this. But because we're going over so much information,
Yeah.
we're scratching the surface here.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear the deeper dive of things like Claude Harvey or the spirit of Sammy Dean,
Sammy Dean.
which is next, definitely consider joining
Aren't
us.
those the lead characters of Supernatural, Sam and Dean?
Yeah, they sure are.
Oh,
They
wow.
sure are.
Yeah.
I did not even think about that, but
I wonder if that's where they got it.
yes,
It's interesting.
maybe.
Very possible.
Well, the 30s were a hard time in Jerome because in 1931, Sammy Dean, a sex worker, met a tragic end when she was allegedly strangled to death by the son of a prominent town member. And despite numerous investigations, her murderer remains elusive. I'm sure that her murderer is dead right now. But
What?
Yeah.
No way.
1930,
1931.
1931 murderer.
Unless he's an
Still on the
immortal
loose.
being. Yeah.
Hey, remember Sammy Dean? She was a pretty thing back in the day.
And locals believe her spirit still haunts the building where she once resided. There's also the sliding jail, Jerome's old jail. And it was built in 1905 and started sliding downhill due to land subsidence caused by mining activities.
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
So
Although,
Really?
they mined too hard,
and the jail just slid away.
which is so interesting.
Could you imagine being in a jail cell and being like, oh,
Literally.
sheriff.
Sheriff. I only picture like an Andy Griffith style
Yeah.
jail cell where it's just like a single room. But
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not how it actually is. The
That's
jail,
wild. So it just slides down a hill?
yeah, it slid down the hill approximately
nuts.
225 feet from its original location.
Stop it.
Yeah.
That's far.
I know.
For
What?
a building, yeah, buildings are not meant to go anywhere. I mean,
nuts.
generally,
Yeah.
we've got
What?
a mobile jail.
Foundation?
Literally, no foundation.
No foundation.
Yeah.
And some visitors have reported feeling eerie and experience unexplained sounds in the vicinity of the site, which is not uncommon for jails because it is a place that no one has a good time. So it's going
Least
to
of all the people sliding around inside of it.
right. I can't even imagine. I would lose it. I would think I was losing it if
Yeah.
I was in the sliding jail. But
Sliding jail.
there are
Is it still sliding?
no, it is not currently
Okay.
sliding.
So
They stopped mining. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And did it slide the 225 feet all at once, or was it just a slow?
That's a good question.
Sliding.
Well, the way they make it seem, but that also just could be for fun, is that it slid all in one jaunt.
All in one jaunt.
Yeah,
That's great.
But maybe that's just to add extra oomph because it's not as fun if they're like the
Over the course of 50 years, it moved a foot and a half a year.
That's crazy.
Exactly. And then also there are legends of the Sedona lights,
Sure.
kind of in the same vein as like the Brown Mountain lights.
Why every haunted place got to have lights?
The Phoenix
Because-
lights.
Yeah. The Northern Lights. All of the lights.
So
Not
many
the
lights.
Northern lights.
Northern lights are a little more typical.
yeah.
but it is still a wild experience to have. So some longtime residents recount tales of strangely colored lights dancing among the rocks at night. These lights can appear in various hues, such as blue, green, and occasionally fiery red. They are often associated with spirit beings or nature spirits known as elementals, who are believed to safeguard the sacred sites and vortexes.
That reminds me of that video that's been going viral. I'm sure y'all have seen it with the lightning ball that's bouncing around the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's what that reminds me of, because it changes colors, like the colors that you said, I think.
There's some very scientific reasons why these things happen.
Well, ball lightning apparently is common enough for people to say, well, that's just ball lightning. I was like, no, I'm sorry. That's a ball of lightning moving around in my neighborhood. You don't get to be like, no, that's just ball lightning.
I thought it was ball lightning. I thought it was ball lightning too, but it was changing like colors. It was like in the video, it like went full red, and I was like, what the hell? Like the ball lightning is not going to turn red out of nowhere.
I'm just
maybe
saying.
There's chemicals in the air.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah,
there's a variety of different reasons that are more rational, but that's not why we're here.
Well, some people say that the gas that comes out the swamp to catch the lights and then makes the lights go, in the funky ways. And then you're looking at it and you're going, oh, hey, I see some lights in the swamp there. And then you say, oh, no, them swamp lights, they're actually alien folk come to get my vittles. And I'm like, I don't give up my vittles, no alien folk.
You don't.
Absolutely.
And that's when I get the double out 6. And then them lights just go away. That's how I know they're intelligent life.
Amen.
Wow. What a journey we just went down.
I like to create my characters by simply feeling around the edges of their persona.
Absolutely.
It's been a long week already, all right?
Yes. But it would make sense that if they are elementals, why they are colors like blue, green, and red, because those would all depict colors of the different elements. Air,
true, right.
Air, I don't know what the color of air would be. Maybe white is.
I think blue is oftentimes considered, although water. Of course, is blue.
Because I would assume
maybe air is nothing.
No,
you can't see the air elementals. Yeah,
you can't really see the air, so that makes perfect sense. White would make sense too.
Yeah. So if somebody knows what the color of a air elemental is, let us know.
I wonder if you can see it better in a hog scope, like thermal scope, like in a hog scope.
They've color coded all of the elements.
Show's so ADHD, but the like a thermal scope, like for hogs.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could see them better.
Maybe.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Got to go investigate and get some of those. I'm on a ghost equipment buying frenzy for the museum, and I've been like playing with the FLIR. Like, do I want to buy a FLIR? It's very interesting.
What's
a FLIR is the infrared camera.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
And
I like infrared.
Yeah.
Or thermal camera.
I'm
like, So I'm thinking about it. Think about it.
So there you go.
Give me a good reason to buy a hog scope.
Hog scope.
Well, maybe you can use your hog scope to see the ant people.
Ooh, ant people. Segue. Master segue.
Like, I gotta rein you back
segue,
in. But so there are folkloric stories that are associated with this area as well, including the ant people. So hidden within Hopi and ancestral Puebloan lore, lore whispered around Sedona, there is a captivating tale about the ant people who are beings that reside underground.
Wow.
As you would imagine.
There you go.
But during times of great catastrophes, such as devastating fires or floods, it is believed that ancient humans were guided underground by these beings who played a pivotal role in saving them from extinction.
Interesting.
So kind of in that same realm is like, all the other hidden worlds, Lemuria, the Mount Shasta, all of that jazz. So I think it's kind of all in that same world.
Yeah.
The concept of people who live underground who can, have full civilizations without our knowledge, and every now and then they interfere with our existence.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna die. Get in here.
I mean, if we got
don't tell anybody. Get out.
if we got aliens in the ocean, who knows?
Yeah, aliens in the ocean, moon-eyed children, moon-eyed people.
Moon-eyed people.
Moon-eyed.
Everybody's got an underground world beneath them. Who knows what we have?
It's true.
We have an aquifer.
We do have an aquifer.
We do. But yes, so some believe that Sedona's majestic canyons and intricate underground caverns hold a profound connection to these ancient beings. And occasionally, glimpses of movement near rock crevices are not merely the result of animals, but rather glimpses of these hidden dwellers.
The ant people?
The ant people.
Do they look like ants?
No, I think it's just because they live underground
No.
is why they call them that. Because
Are they armed?
No.
No. Like they don't have pinchers?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they
Do
just
have
live
guns?
underground.
They'd be called bullet ants if they had guns.
Oh, bullet ants.
Yeah.
Well, these are revered as symbols of...
So we
don't-
should be making
You
fun
want
of
to
them.
call
Yes.
them when it's like really hot? Fire ants.
Anyways, so they are symbols of wisdom.
And on date night, you could have ants in your pants.
Ooh. When they give each other kisses, they're sugar ants.
They are symbols of wisdom, survival, and guardianship.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if you want to mess
So
with
they're
them.
hall monitors.
Oh, yeah.
They are. That's exactly what they are. Though they are not inherently malevolent, but rather possess an otherworldly appearance characterized by elongated limbs and antenna-like heads.
Oh, shoot. So they look
So
like
they do
ants.
look like ants.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, but there's no like armored bodies.
They have antennas?
They have antennas.
That's really interesting because when you think about the wide variety of experiences and interpretations of creatures that people run into, antennae are not that normal. I can only think of like the Mothman, really,
Right.
who is an antenna-bearing cryptid. But you would think antennas, because insects are weird.
They are
freak
weird.
us out. And antennae are almost always, though that's not human.
Yeah.
Things got antennae. So
That
you would
can't
think
be
there would be
real.
more stories about beings and creatures with antennae.
I guess it might be just a regional thing too.
That's very true. That's fair.
You know, because it's like, I mean, and
Or, the early drug use and just an ant on someone's finger. It's like,
oh,
whoa, dude, look.
it's an ant person.
Imagine this was a real life-size thing that was like underground and whoa.
There are also secret mountain portals.
Oh, cool.
Mountain portals.
Yeah.
Secret portals.
So the secret mountain wilderness, which is a place, located.
Not just secret mountains, but the actual named mountains.
Which is a place.
Mountains named secret.
Yes. Located just northwest of Sedona, is shrouded in a heavily guarded legend. It is said to hold a natural portal to other dimensions.
Oh, there you go.
Hikers and campers have reported experiencing strange occurrences, such as losing hours of time, hearing mechanical whirring sounds emanating from the trees, and witnessing doors of light appearing and disappearing within the forest.
Sure.
Wow.
I know.
That
And
sounds fun.
And some UFO researchers believe that Secret Mountain serves as an interdimensional base where beings from different realities slip through. And paranormal investigators have further corroborated these claims by detecting bizarre EMF spikes and recording audio of strange, almost synthetic voices echoing through the woods.
Don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I'm like, that seems too thin.
I kind of like that.
Like, I don't know.
I really.
Well, and it makes that because there's countless stories about people getting lost, like in national parks and
Right.
in remote areas. And could you imagine that you just kind of step through a portal and then you're on the other side of the world? Like,
Yeah.
you step through a portal and then you're at the bottom of the ocean.
That'd
Oh,
be
no.
Because that's
insane.
where the other portal was.
Right.
The other
God.
end of the portal. And you're like perfectly fine in the forest and then boom.
You did not decompress for this.
Right. You
No.
did not. You're just
Literally.
smashed flat.
Yeah, and we will actually talk about people who have gone missing out of thin air. So Hold on, everybody. Hold on to your britches.
I don't know what to hold on to.
She's like trying to like Wallace in.
Yeah, I'm like,
she's like, come on.
You can't steer this wild buck.
Riri. Anyways.
Not Riri. You say Riri.
Yeah.
Riri.
Yeah. They also had the Blue Men of Sycamore Canyon.
Oh, hey. Ooh. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. They're kind of like moon-eyed people, somewhat. Sycamore Canyon is a remote area situated west of Sedona, and it holds its own peculiar lore. Hikers have reported encounters with small blue-skinned humanoids, approximately 3 to 4 feet tall, with large black eyes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And these beings are described as shy yet mischievous, and occasionally throwing pebbles at hikers.
Oh.
Not pebbles at hikers.
Especially mischievous.
And rearranging
Mischievous.
camping gear, or even whispering in languages that remain undecipherable.
Why are all the Sedona entities like evil light?
They're diet evil.
They're diet evil.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm going to throw pebbles at you and it's going to sting a little bit.
It's going to freak you out because I got antennae.
Yes. And indigenous legends portray them as elemental guardians and spirits of water and rock, while other theories suggest they could be extraterrestrial beings or fae-like entities.
It's very moon-eyed.
Oh,
It's very moon-like.
Got Faye
Moon-eyed.
Daddy up in here.
Faye Daddy.
She smiled when she said that.
Well, I mean, if it's that thin where everybody can just get through, who's to say? There's no fae.
It's very
Who's to
much
say
the
there's no
description of fae encounters. Like when you go around the world and anything that is generally considered fae, you get the portals, the will-o-wisps, the lights in the sky, all of that definitely falls into that folklore. It's the gnomes,
It is.
says Applejacks.
It also very well could be gnomes. Who's to say?
They are tricky ones, the gnomes.
They would
Applejacks, have you had Applejacks yet?
let us know.
Let us know.
For those of you just tuning in, we are oftentimes asking someone whose handle is Applejacks whether or not they've actually eaten Applejacks. The answer has been no.
Consistently.
Consistently.
There is also, Cathedral Rock, one of the vortex sites that we were talking about earlier. There is something called the mirror effect that happens there. So this one is eerily lesser known outside of hardcore Sedona locals, apparently.
Okay.
And some visitors claim that meditating between the two main spires of Cathedral Rock at sunset creates a mirror effect, which is basically visions of past lives, alternate lives, or spiritual twins.
Man, you're right. This is the perfect first adventure out because this place seems hella spiritual.
It's very.
Well, we're talking about what seems to be around a 50 to 100 mile radius of Sedona too. So you have all these neat spots that you can travel to.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we'll have the awning too for you, Chris. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. We'll just put you
I'll
in
just
a
be
vortex.
at the Jerome Grand Hotel.
Exactly.
Just sipping an iced tea going, I wonder how they're doing with those ant people.
We never come back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I've seen this true crime documentary.
I called them sugar ants, and then we never come back.
True.
Hey, sugar ants!
But people report vivid flashes of scenes from ancient civilizations, battles, ceremonies, or emotional memories that they swear aren't their own.
Wow.
And some psychics believe that the rock naturally functions as a multiversal mirror, reflecting your potential selves or past lives.
Interesting. Future lives and past lives. That's something that a lot of people don't give enough credence to, is the fact that for a while now, researchers have believed that your ability to see your future life is as tangible as seeing your past lives.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But manifesting it or
through regressive.
Yeah.
So through regressive hypnosis, you can see past lives. Through progressive hypnosis, you can see your future lives.
Oh.
And there is some scary statistic that there's a period of time when they haven't been able to find anyone's future life.
Yeah.
A long period of there doesn't seem to be any life.
Well, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Well,
That is terrifying.
well, there we go. So everybody go ahead and lock in for your what is it? The existential crisis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
While we get into shapeshifters.
Shapeshifters.
So at Red Rocks.
We should have started off with this because that's the only thing I know about this area.
Yes.
Is it skinwalkery?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so, particularly red rocks, there are some accounts that mention shapeshifters, kind of akin to skinwalkers, that guard sacred spaces in Sedona. And hikers have reported encountering large, shadowy figures that appear animalistic from a distance, but transform into humans upon approach, only to vanish. And there are also stories of giant wolves or ravens. Mm-hmm. Giant ravens, like massive.
Sounds cool.
That lock eyes. That lock eyes with travelers, leading to subsequent illness or strange bad luck after the encounter.
Sure. Oh, no.
And furthermore, some indigenous traditions caution against photographing certain rock formations or sacred sites, believing it can attract the attention of these watchful entities.
Really? Mm-hmm. Like only photographs or like video? Because video is just a bunch of photographs.
That's a lot of photographs in a row. So, you're just compounding the issue.
Damn.
Yeah. So
I guess we can't go there.
Well, we'll learn. We'll figure it out. We'll find out.
We'll take a guide.
The best test for whether or not they like it or not is to try it. Just try it. Just try it.
My Leah says, I love a skinwalker, I tell you what.
You shouldn't, because they're terrifying.
They're not known for being particularly faithful.
My Leah's a lot like me, where we just like the darker parts of things.
Until you see one in the woods. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. Also, Applejack's is not at Applejack's. So they're just up there.
One day.
Let's put it on the board.
All right. So our last one before we get into the mysterious disappearances is Sedona's electric people. Now, these are humans. But they're just cursed to do the electric slide for the rest of their lives.
That's pretty awful.
It's electric.
There are also an unusual modern legend surrounding the vortexes. Some individuals who frequently interact with the vortexes claim to experience a phenomenon called electrification, and their bodies begin to influence electronic devices. Stories recount instances of phones ceasing to function, watches breaking, light bulbs exploding in proximity to them, and bizarre static shocks that feel significantly stronger than normal.
Oh, wow.
One theory proposes that the electromagnetic fields emanating from the vortexes tune the human energy field differently, leading to these peculiar effects. And more speculative theories suggest that the vortexes may partially awaken latent psychic abilities within individuals. Oh. And I actually know somebody who this happened to.
You do?
Yeah, my professor in college, he had this happen. He was working a stint in a theater in Sedona, and he's a very naturey type of guy, as one would imagine from an art professor. And he would hike out to the vortexes, and he claimed, way before I ever read this, like this was 8-9 years ago at this point when he told me this, and yeah, he said that he is a destroyer of technology, basically. He's like, I will walk by streetlights, and the streetlights will explode sometimes. He showed it off one time, not on purpose. So in the classrooms, obviously, there was a laptop computery thing for professors to use. And the computer, after him using it, completely was destroyed. Could not be fixed. He said he has gone through so many phones because he holds them and then they just suddenly corrupt, basically.
That's nuts.
Yeah, and so he said that he believes that the vortexes caused him to be just terrible with technology.
There you go. Turned on some crazy EMP power.
Well, we can't go there.
Right.
Because I can't do that.
Exactly.
That would be such a drag.
That would be such a drag.
It would be terrible.
Oh, God.
But
Apple Care would be like, go away.
Go away.
You can't buy an Apple.
Yeah.
But
here's a lovely Android. Go away.
So if you don't become an electric person, there is a possibility that you can mysteriously disappear without any trace. And there are a number of cases where this happened, and I'm going to tell you about some of them. So, number one was the disappearing hikers of Secret Canyon over by Secret Mountain. So over the years,
just over Secret Mountain, past Secret Valley, by Secret River.
where everything's secret.
Around Secret Creek.
Over
Do we
the
have an
years,
address, or is that secret too?
maybe you got to know.
Right on the map, it says Secret Canyon.
Yeah. So over the years, several experienced hikers have mysteriously vanished while trekking into the secret canyon, which lives up to its reputation for being a place of unexplained disappearances. And what makes these cases even more perplexing is that many of the hikers were well equipped, had detailed hiking plans, and even left their belongings behind with family or park services. In some instances, their gear is later discovered untouched and full of water, but there's no sign of a struggle, animals, or natural hazards such as falling rocks. What's even weirder is that there are no tracks, no scent trails for dogs, and nothing at all. So even rescue dogs can't find these people.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so local legends talk about the existence of natural portals within Secret Canyon that occasionally pull people into another realm, and in some cases permanently.
Sure.
Some even claim that if you hike there at dusk and hear a high-pitched humming sound, you should immediately turn back or risk never returning.
What?
Yeah.
A high-pitched humming sound.
At dusk.
What would that be?
That would be the portal.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know they sounded like that. Like, wait, what makes them sound like that?
It's usually the whirring
Like
of energy.
static electricity. You know,
Oh, wow.
The fact that there's energy present. It's interesting because there are countless stories in every culture of people slipping into these other worlds, and they could spend like a day in the other world, but when they come back, it's 100 years later.
True.
You know, Rip Van Winkle is one. Hiroshima Taro is one in Japan. Cuchulainn in Ireland. All these stories have the same kind of concept, which was there was a portal that they fell into, and then when they came back, it was 100 years later.
Which would be
or
so
longer.
jarring.
I think in Cuchulainn's story, it was like 1,000 years later.
Yeah.
He came back, and he was told that he couldn't touch the ground, or he'll age to the age that he was. And he touched the ground and turned to dust.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
There is also a case from 1988 that was the case of Christopher James. A 34-year-old man named Christopher James embarked on a solo meditation journey near Bell Rock, a prominent vortex site in Sedona that we talked about earlier. He had communicated his intention to connect with the higher beings he believed inhabited the area. Tragically, his car was discovered parked at Bell Rock trailhead, leaving behind his journal, which contained chilling final words. The direct final words were, "The door is open. I feel them calling."
Bruh.
Yeah.
And then he was never seen
again.
or heard from
That
again.
is nuts.
And
Those are chilling final words.
Those are
Literally.
super chilling
Yeah.
final words.
And despite extensive searches involving helicopters and trained dogs, Christopher's body remains were never found.
Really?
And some
Now, there are deep crevasses that
Yes.
he could have fallen down.
they
Imagine.
know where to find people. They are gonna, these are trained people who search these canyons and are.
Yeah, but there are giant ravens and wolves just
I
gobble
guess
you
so.
up.
Yeah,
Those are chilling.
yeah.
Wow.
It's
Say them
crazy.
again. It was.
It's the door is open. I
hear
feel them calling.
I feel them calling.
You feel them.
Calling.
Oh.
See, even that is a good short film. Is finding that
Yeah,
journal,
absolutely.
and reading that line.
For
'Cause
sure.
it's terrifying.
It's terrifying. And some speculate that he experienced a mental breakdown, while others, particularly local psychics, believe he intentionally crossed into another dimension.
That's what it really sounds like. The door is
Yeah.
open.
I feel them calling. And there was also the missing time campers of Oak Creek, a story that has been passed down among the campfire circles of Sedona. Involves two friends, often nameless but believed to be in their 20s, who embarked on a camping trip near Oak Creek in the late 1990s. And according to their accounts, they both retired to their tents around 11 p.m., concluding their evening with a typical routine. However, one of them awoke at sunrise in quotes. The sun was high in the sky, but it was 1 p.m. And they thought it was sunrise.
Okay.
Their campfire, which they had left burning, had completely extinguished. To make matters even more perplexing, their watches and phones had all mysteriously stopped working at 11:11 p.m.
Stop.
And what added to the experience was the discovery of red triangle-shaped marks on their arms, which they were unable to explain. That's a common occurrence, by the way, the red triangle marks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sedona sounds like a dope spot.
Right.
This is crazy.
There's so many ways we could be killed.
I know, right?
I know. And so a lot of people believe those marks are basically the sign that you've been abducted by extraterrestrial beings or touched by an interdimensional entity.
Right.
How much would that suck? Like, we work our entire year as hard as we can to try to get ghosts up. We finally get ghosts up and then immediately disappear.
Yeah.
On the first hunt.
That is literally every true crime documentary I've ever seen.
It's true.
That's exactly how it's going to go. We're going to get a lot of footage leading up to it. We're going to get a lot of footage on the road. And then it's like, and then they mysteriously disappeared.
So become a pair junkie, become a part of it.
Yeah.
Or disappearance.
You'll see it on live.
Friend and fellow podcaster Chris Susi was at the Jerome Grand Hotel.
I just don't know what happened to them.
They went out to go see the blue people. I don't know.
Sipping his tea.
If you can see under his awning.
Yes. So the last one before we get into the real story that everybody loves in this area, we've got the vanishing photographer of Schnelby Hill.
Schnelby.
And in 2012, so fairly recent in the grand scheme of things, this photographer ventured out to Schnelby Hill Road to capture the night sky.
I hate it. Mm-hmm. I hate Schnelby.
I hate it too, but that's the name.
Schnelby is a weird name.
Let's just call it Shelby
It sounds like
Hill.
somebody is making fun of a name.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Shelby Schnelby.
Yeah, it does.
So around
No offense to anyone who lives in Schnelby.
Yes. But around midnight, he texted a friend a photo of the Milky Way, which appeared beautiful yet strangely distorted. There were peculiar vertical bands of light that didn't align with any known celestial phenomenon. That was the last time anyone heard from him.
What?
His car was discovered abandoned off the road with the keys still inside and the camera missing.
Stop.
Even more unsettling was the fact that his tent was still fully set up approximately 200 yards away, untouched, as if he had simply walked away in the middle of his thought process.
Wow.
I think he caught something he wasn't supposed to, and he got taken away.
The Men in Black got him.
This whole place gives like hella Dyatlov's pass. Like,
yes.
Kind of.
The
Yeah,
whole place does.
So this one is not necessarily a disappearance, but we're going to talk more about it.
Yeah.
And that is Bradshaw Ranch, which is another place that is very commonly talked about in this area because of the skinwalkers and all the crazy things that happen there with the UFOs and all that jazz. So Bradshaw Ranch is situated just west of Sedona and was once owned by Linda Bradshaw, who reported experiencing intense UFO activity, livestock disappearances, and encounters with strange light beings on the property through the 1990s.
Damn.
And so following a series of thorough investigations conducted by paranormal researchers, the U.S. government acquired the land and subsequently closed it off to the public.
Well, of course they did.
And there are rumors that at least one researcher met with an unfortunate end while trespassing on the ranch after it was closed. We're not going to say how that person died. But, however, official records do not mention this incident, leading some to speculate that it was deliberately suppressed.
Wait. I'm confused. So why are we not to saying how he died?
Because it was probably the government.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was taken out.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So,
But as far as the government was concerned, he never existed.
it's true. So, Bradshaw Ranch, some basics about it before we get into more of their paranormal activity. It is located about 12 miles southwest of Sedona, deep in the Verde Valley, near Secret Mountain Wilderness. Everybody's around Secret Mountain, but original owners were Bob and Linda Bradshaw. Bob was a Hollywood stuntman and set photographer who retired to Sedona in the 1960s and built the ranch. It's about 60 acres, and it is now off limits, fenced and guarded by government signs, and maybe more.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That by itself raises all kinds of flags. It's like,
right.
What could it be that interested the government so much that they shut the entire area down?
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about it.
Let's hear it. All right.
So,
what?
The UFOs and strange lights. So Linda Bradshaw and her son John frequently observed balls of light floating over the fields. Some were basketball-sized, while others were larger than cars.
Oh, wow.
And occasionally the lights were white or blue, but more often they were blood red.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. They would blink in and out of existence, sometimes splitting apart or merging together. On several occasions, Linda and John witnessed solid metallic crafts, including classic saucer shapes and giant black triangles, silently gliding over their ranch. They also had interdimensional beings. So witnesses reported seeing translucent humanoid figures moving through the fields, and some of these figures appeared human but lacked facial features, while others were just...
Yeah, I know. Don't like that.
I know.
Faceless people, they bother me.
They bother me too. I need something.
I don't know where to make the eye contact.
While others were described as shadow beings with glowing eyes.
Ooh.
And occasionally these beings would phase in and out, becoming partially visible, similar to bad CGI effects in real life is how it was described. Multiple accounts describe doorways of light, that's how they call it, opening several feet above the ground, and some of these lights reportedly showed landscapes that didn't resemble Sedona, almost as if they were from other worlds or different eras.
Okay.
Mind you, all of this is in the same 60 acres. And one evening, Linda reported seeing a giant white portal, and as the portal opened, two, in her words, tall, robed figures stepped out, looked around, and then disappeared.
Robed.
Those Jedi.
Yeah. And there also were disappearing objects and time distortions. Ranch hands and visitors frequently lost objects that were never found again, even after they were set down right in front of them. And time distortions were also common, with watches stopping and hours passing in minutes or vice versa. Additionally, there were even reports of people hearing voices whispering directly into their ears, even when they were completely alone.
Jeez.
And then there were strange creatures. Eyewitnesses reported seeing bizarre hybrid animals, wolf-like creatures that vanished when chased, gigantic birds larger than condors.
So we're go for the first trip in ghost history. We're going to the most anti-Chris place I think I can imagine.
Yes.
I don't think there is a place that is more anti-Christopher Gene Soucy.
Well, there's that clown hotel.
We can make a stop.
We can make it stop.
It's not that far, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's probably not that far.
And then there are hairless humanoid figures crawling on all fours at impossible speeds.
Oh, wow.
Don't like that.
And Linda once photographed giant claw prints in the dirt that were much too large for any normal desert animal. Now here's the government involvement. So in the early 2000s, as Linda Bradshaw's health started to decline, some attribute it to the energies emanating from the ranch. The land was unexpectedly acquired by the U.S. government, particularly the Department of the Interior. Yeah. It was, and mind you, Linda was still alive. She just straight up started getting sick, and they're like, we're going to take this from you, Linda. That's weird.
Don't you worry about it, Linda. Everything's going to be fine.
It was quickly fenced off and labeled as part of the Coconino National Forest, and no trespassing signs were posted everywhere, along with new surveillance equipment that was installed. And some claim that unmarked black helicopters were seen flying over the ranch at night after the government took control. Locals quietly believe the ranch was seized because of what was happening there, possibly connected to either alien activity, experimental tech, or interdimensional research. But Tom Dongo, that is his name, a well-known Sedona-based paranormal researcher and author, he wrote a whole book on this place, spent years documenting activity at the ranch alongside the Bradshaws. He collected hundreds of photos of orbs, strange lights, and possible cryptid-like creatures.
Tom Dongo.
Yeah.
I'm going to look him up.
Dongo
I'm looking him up now.
has repeatedly stated that Bradshaw Ranch, in his quotes, defies normal reality, calling it a place where the veil between worlds is paper thin. And then for photographic evidence, I can't show you any of these because I don't have Tom Dongo's book, and that is the only place where you can find these photos. But there are images of black rectangular portals floating in the sky. And additionally, there are photos showing creatures invisible to the human eye at the time, but captured in infrared cameras. So even more reason for you to get the infrared camera.
There you go.
Did you hear that, Jay?
Oh, yeah.
And so furthermore...
I'm emailing Tom Dongo.
Oh, furthermore, there are pictures of dome-like crafts hovering low over the ground. And so the current status is that access is completely restricted, and some hikers try to sneak close, but many report electronic interference, strange feelings of dread, and sometimes even getting violently sick the closer they get. And drones mysteriously lose signal near the ranch, so you can't drone in. And locals say you can sometimes still see strange lights dancing over the ranch at night from a distance, especially in the hours of the early morning. Now, to finish this out, some theories of why Bradshaw Ranch is like this. Some people believe that it's an interdimensional gateway. The ranch sits at a major energetic intersection, making it easy for otherworldly entities to slip into our world. Some believe that it's an alien outpost where extraterrestrials use the energy fields of Sedona for transportation and observation, and the ranch is a major hotspot. Some believe that it was secret military experimentation. After seeing the activity, the U.S. government wanted to harness the strange energies for weapons research or stealth technology, or just simply that it's a thin place. In ancient spiritual terms, Bradshaw Ranch is a thin place where the barrier between Earth and the spiritual realms is extremely fragile. Now, the final creepy detail for everybody to end out this episode. Linda Bradshaw once said in an interview before she passed away, this is the direct quote, "There are things out there that you can't bring back with you. They belong to the land now."
Ooh.
And no one ever really explained what she meant.
Oh, there you go.
So, there you go, everybody. That is
well,
Sedona.
that's wholly creepifying.
Yeah. And like I said, that is scratching the surface here. We'll do a deep dive into multiple places in this particular...
Yeah, we could take them one at a time.
Exactly. So that way we can talk a little bit further about the different hot spots, if you will. But there is no arguing that Sedona is wild in every sense of the word, whether it be actual animals, cryptids, UFOs, ghosts, or vortexes.
Extra-dimensional beings or Fey Daddy.
Or Fey Daddy.
Hey, Daddy.
And if you become a parajunkie, then it will be Fey Daddy in the vortexes. So,
Fey Daddy in the vortexes?
That's my favorite band.
That sounds like a band, and I love it.
yes.
Fey Daddy in the vortexes.
And JT, if he has any possible sway, he is going to try to get Tom Dongo in on this.
I'm already. I'm halfway through this email.
Yeah. I would imagine that we could probably get him on this podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Absolutely.
gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna try to zoom him in. We can talk to him about it.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank y'all so much for listening to this very long episode. If you have a place in Sedona, if you live in Sedona and you know a spot that we didn't cover and you think it would be interesting for our research purposes, let us know if you have any recommendations. But other than that, y'all, thank you again for listening to this. And thank you to the Parajunkies who have joined us today on the live stream. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day whenever you are listening to this. And my name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susi.
And stay spooky, y'all.